Hello, I am here with Raphael Verela, the owner and founder of Circuit Works, and it's so great to be with you today. Yay, I just worked out with you this morning.
I know, that was fun, right? It was hard.
Oh my God, it was such a hard class. You've been so important to me. I've been working out at your gym for over 10 years since you had your first location. And I had the great fortune of meeting my boyfriend at your house party. So
Yeah.
I talk about in my book, there's 7 areas of life. We're going to talk about fitness with you, but you've helped my romantic life and my fitness life. So I just love you. You're one of my favorite people on planet Earth. So I
Thank
am
you so
really
much.
excited to hear about your story and I know that all I really know about you is that you were in the military and then you started a gym. I know there's a lot of stuff in between that led you to be the founder and owner of the hottest gym on the west side of LA, soon to be franchising all over the country. So tell me
Yes.
a little bit about your story.
Well, I mean, my story I think one of a lot of people's story. I think a lot of people can relate. When I went immediately to the Marine Corps right after high school as a way to sort of get out of the environment that I was in. I grew up here, in Los Angeles, and for me, it was sort of the only path I had to go to college. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to be the first, to go to college. You know, uh, Back then, my family couldn't afford, to send me to college. And I had pretty good grades, but I didn't have the money for college. So the Marine Corps was sort of my way to do that. In the Marine Corps, I was always into sort of working out and sports, but the Marine Corps sort of put things in a scientific perspective for me, and the way that the Marine Corps trains its recruits, and it was sort of an eye-opening experience, and my introduction to HIIT training in general. Because before that, we would just go to the gym and just lift weights. So
Right, or do like hours and hours of cardio. And what I love
or
about your
cardio.
workout is I used to do what I call the supermodel workout, which was 45 minutes of cardio and abs. And I was wondering, why am I not like, slimming down or getting in shape? And I
Yeah,
know that you're kind of one of the first people in the country to like have a HIIT gym. Now there's so many
yeah,
different HIIT training classes. So
yeah.
scientifically, how does it work better than just doing cardio or just lifting weights? Like, how does it affect the body differently?
Well, it affects the body differently because when you combine cardio and weights, first of all, weight training, burns more fat calories than cardio, than just doing cardio. And the reason is that is because of the afterburn effect. So when you lift weights, your body continues to burn fat calories, hours after, the actual workout. Whereas in cardio, you burn during and not so much after.
So how does
And
it burn calories? Is it because you tear the muscles apart and the healing of the muscles is burning calories? Is that how it works?
Well, with weight training, the reason why you continue to burn calories afterwards, because there's two different types of muscle fibers in your body. There's fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers. And the slow twitch muscle fibers are engaged or, recruited when you're doing cardio. And they use what's called the aerobic system. Uh,
Mm.
and the anaerobic system, which is the fast twitch muscle fibers, use the phosphagen system, and that system, there's shorter muscle fibers, and they continue to use calories because yes, you're tearing down your muscle fibers, and there's that afterburn effect where it is sort of the idea that you're rebuilding, you're tearing them down, and then you're rebuilding, so you continue to burn after. And HIIT training burns more calories than just doing weights or just doing cardio, because your body is sort of switching back and forth between those two exercise systems. And that switching back and forth, that time that you spend during the switching back and forth, where your body's trying to decide which expenditure system is going to use, actually increases the amount of calories you burn by even another 500%.
Wow.
And
So
that's
you're
why,
kind of confusing your body. It doesn't know which system
yeah,
you're on, and that creates
yeah,
more calorie burn.
yeah. It's called the zigzag theory, and
Oh, cool. I'm gonna
yeah,
write that down. I like that.
yeah, yeah, the zigzag theory, and it's the most effective way to burn calories, to increase muscle endurance, to increase your fat expenditure, to increase your endurance, your strength. It's just the most effective way to train your body. And again, the military has been doing this for over 100 years.
Right.
And when I was in the Marine Corps and got introduced to HIIT training, it not only was it eye opening, but the results that I received were were incredible. It was something I wasn't used to. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I started I went to college and I started to train on my own, and I started working for LA Fitness for a while as a fitness manager, and I had clients and I was doing personal training, and I noticed that just going in the gym, I would try to do this sort of HIIT training in the gym, which was virtually impossible, because as soon as you leave a treadmill after a couple of minutes, someone is waiting in line to get on it. So then you're sitting around waiting to get back on the treadmill. And if you leave weights or a piece of equipment, a strength training equipment, again, there's a line waiting. So it was virtually impossible to do it in the gym. So
Right.
what I started doing is I started to sort of do my own thing in the morning before I went to work. So I would go out to the beach and I would, bring dumbbells and bands and different things. And I would just do this sort of HIIT training boot camp workout on my own on the beach. And what I noticed was my fitness level started to come back to the way it was when I was actually in the Marine Corps. And
Wow.
not only did I notice it, but my clients noticed it, and the other trainers that I worked with noticed it. And you got to understand, this was many years ago, and there was no boot camp on the beach. When I started doing this thing on the beach, there was no outdoor workout. There was nothing. There was definitely no HIIT training studios around.
Right.
So then clients and coworkers would, ask me what I was doing. I told them, and they would, can we come out there and train with you? So obviously I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, after a while, they started to see a difference in their bodies after working out for years in the gym. And one day I went out to do sort of my own thing and noticed there was 30 people out there to sort of do this thing with me.
Wow.
And a light bulb went off in my head to go, wow, this could be something. And again, it was like, okay, well, $20 a session. And I started this whole boot camp, sort of HIIT training workout on the beach. And that was the birth of me starting my own business. I started a boot camp on the beach, and it was HIIT training. It was obstacles. I actually went to Home Depot and created obstacles and did this whole HIIT obstacle training boot camp on the beach. And people saw, results. It was eye-opening for me, and it was the first boot camp on the beach. I grew that, business to about 3 locations. I had one in Huntington Beach.
Wow.
The original one was in Venice, and I had one in Malibu.
Okay.
And it was extremely successful. It was great. It was fun. But one thing about California is, once a drop of rain falls out of the sky, everyone sort of runs for cover. So in the
Yeah,
winter,
nobody wants to go outside.
no one wants to go outside. So in the winter, the business would sort of fall off a cliff. So I decided to, because I lived right near the beach, I had a garage, I was renting a house. And so I decided to sort of clean my garage out and do this sort of 101 HIIT training in my little makeshift gym inside, my garage. And first I was doing 1 at a time, and then it grew to 2 at a time and 3 at a time. And then I had a waiting list for like a year of people that wanted to come in and do this sort of HIIT training with me
At your garage.
at my garage. And that was another sort of moment of clarity hit me, and a light bulb went off. I'm like, wow, I need a bigger spot, because I couldn't take more than 3 or 4 people at a time in there.
Yeah.
And that's when I sort of scraped together as much money as I had, and found a at the time Abbot Kinney, which is the first real commercial location, was extremely cheap. I talked to the lady that owned the building on Abbot Kinney, and she was like, sure, it was no real, like, it was like that deal was like done on a handshake.
Nice.
I pulled together some, some of my clients that wanted to invest, and I pulled together a couple of them to sort of help me, get this thing off the ground. Well, I got them to commit and I signed a lease, and 3 months before I was going to start sort of the construction and build out, the two, investors that I had fell out. One of them had a family emergency and had to move. And the other one was her best friend. And so she was like, well, she's not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I was stuck with this sort of lease with no more money in the bank. I think I had like $48 in the bank, or
Wow.
$20 in the bank. And I initially went to the owner of the building and I tried to get out of the lease.
That's funny.
Told her my whole, sob story, and she basically, looked me in the eyes and said, "I'm so sorry this happened." She's like, "I don't know what you're gonna do, but I can't let you out of lease. So, fucking sell flowers,
Yeah, exactly.
So at that point, I sort of had, I went into like a little bit of a depression. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't have the money to do construction, so I actually went online and learned how to do the construction. I learned how to, sort of do the demo, because the space had like office spaces. So I
Yeah.
had to go in there with a sledgehammer and just learn how to do the demo, learn how to do the electrical. I pretty much learned how to do it all on my own. And the guy that I was the expediter who was gonna help with the permits and the contractor, I said, "Look, I can't pay you to do all this, but what if I present you with plans and I do it all right? How much is it going to cost me? What are you going to charge me? Did they just sign off on everything?" And they didn't think I would be able to do it. So they're like, whatever, give us, $300-$400. We'll sign off on it, if you do it right. So I went online and I looked up, I'm like, what sort of software do you all use? Like the architect and the contractor? Oh, we use a program called AutoCAD. It's like, okay. So I went online. The program at the time was like $1,500. So I went ahead and used my credit card, paid $1,500 for the software, and learned how to use it online on my YouTube and design.
What drove you to, most people would just give up if, they'd be like, oh, well, I can't pay my lease. I have $48 in my pocket. I don't know how to do construction. I can't afford a contractor. Like, what was your why? Like, I know your daughter's a huge why now and a huge motivator, but she wasn't
Right.
around. So
She
what
wasn't around.
drove you?
Well, for me, I come from a very, colorful background. And my family did not have money.
Yeah.
For me, it was life or death, to be honest. It was like, what am I going to do? I don't have anything else. If this doesn't work, I'm I'm homeless. I didn't have like parents that I could like rely on if things
Right.
went south. I didn't have that kind of support, financial, family support. So it was like I gotta, I'm not gonna sit here and just die. I got to do something. I got to try.
You could have just gone backwards and gone back to LA Fitness and had personal training on the beach. You could
Yeah,
have gone
for
to
me,
that.
that really wasn't an option because I had left all of that.
Right.
So to go backwards, I come from a mindset of you keep moving forward. You don't go backwards.
Right.
And I spent every dime I had into this sort of project. So it was sort of, a moment of, life or death. I
Yeah.
wanted to be, not only did I need to be successful for myself, but for my family. I wanted to, help my mom. I wanted to, be able to take care of her and, my family at the time. So, everyone was sort of looking to me as the man of the family, so I had to step up. It
Yeah.
was no option. It was like you know, either do this and be successful or fail and not have the regret of not even trying.
Right. So failure was not an option for you.
Failure was not an option for me.
So
It
you
was
got
like,
everything built and then you got the
mhm.
permits. And how did you start getting clientele to come into your first location?
Well, the first location, I had a handful of clients, which wasn't enough. I taught all the classes. I didn't have a front desk. I didn't have anyone. So on the times that I didn't have classes, I would walk the neighborhood and hand out free day passes. And I would do this. I would work from literally, I would get up at like 4 in the morning. I would walk, I would teach class. I would walk the neighborhood, knock on doors, hand out free day passes. Until I had more classes. And I worked from literally 4:30 in the morning to like, 9 at night.
Like residential doors, like you went door to door
Doors.
with
I
free
went
fitness
door to
passes.
door. Door to door.
Incredible. That's
Door
so
to
like
door.
admirable. You were so driven.
Yeah, I went
Did you
door to
still have
door.
time to work out yourself?
Yeah, I would still fit in my workout.
Incredible.
Not as much as I work out now, but I would still fit in. And I would literally, I remember there were I remember, using, I would have masking tape. I would start developing all these blisters on my feet because I walked around so much. I would walk in like a 5-mile radius throughout the entire neighborhood. And I remember taping up my blisters with masking tape.
Wow.
Putting cotton in and taping it because my feet, I was on my feet literally from sun up to sundown for months until my clientele started to grow.
So you grew this location on Abbot Kinney. So how did you feel when you saw like full classes and all these trainers working for you? I mean, that must have been such
it was, an amazing feeling. I felt accomplished, but I wasn't done. I knew I wanted to, because at the time there was no other HIIT studios. The only thing that sort of existed during that time was there was yoga, there was like step classes, and there was spinning, and that was it. It was nothing else. So I knew I was onto something. I knew that, that this was something that not only was I onto, that was much needed. It was in the fitness community. So yeah, I grew it, and eventually, with the and I remember when I was in the garage, it was the difference was because we have individual stages. So I would take pictures of the exercise. It was hard to manage that many people, and show them what they were doing at each station, because we have individual stations. So in the beginning, and this was before the video technology, I would take pictures of the exercise and I'd put them on like little 8.5 by 11 clipboards, and I had nails on the wall, and I would put that clipboard of the exercise at each station. And I knew I wanted video, but the technologies just didn't exist at the time. So that's how I was able to sort of get people to see what they were doing, and then I would just go around and correct their form and technique.
And now you guys have got to check out his gym if you're in LA. I mean, there's iPads at every station. There's instructors correcting your form. It is like the most fun, transformative workout I've ever had in my life. So people are coming into the new year right now, and they all have New Year's resolutions. They all want to set goals for the new year. So how do you set realistic fitness goals so you don't start the year like, I'm going to work out every day for 5 hours a day, and then 2 weeks into January, you're like, I'm sore, I'm injured, forget the gym, I don't ever want to work out again. And then you do it again the following year. So how can people set realistic goals for the new year?
Well, here's the thing that I think, a lot of people don't realize. For me, personally, the fitness and working out for me has always been my therapy.
Yeah.
Right. It's never been about, how it's going to make me look, appearance, or even strength gains. From where I came from, I come from, again, a single mother raised family. And my mother had mental issues and did the best she could, but fitness for me was my escape. It was my escape out of that environment. So I would go and work out because of the way that it made me feel mentally, more so than physically. It was my escape to keep my mind in more of a healthy place. the sort of physical results are the byproduct.
Right. So how can the average person incorporate that philosophy and just make it part of their life? Because I know it's
You have to focus on how it makes you feel. You have
mm,
to focus on the emotional results, the mental sort of results. If you focus on that and you just go in there to feel better mentally,
yes.
the physical stuff will follow. And if you do it to strengthen your mental health,
Mm-hmm.
a funny thing happens. It's like brushing your teeth in the morning. You get into a routine where you're just like, I just gotta, I'm going through a lot right now, and I've been through a lot of tragedy in my life. I'm going through a lot. I need to do this for my mental health. If you do it for your mental health, the consistency sort of stays with you because you're doing it not by getting on a scale and seeing your
Right.
results.
Because that can be
You're doing it because you
discouraging.
feel
Because
better. Oh, absolutely. I never get on a scale.
yeah.
I don't know how much I weigh now. I have no idea. I
Yeah.
go in, I go in every day because of the way that it makes me feel emotionally. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I mean?
agree. In my book, I
That's it.
say not to weigh yourself. I said your goal weight should
Yeah.
be sexy AF, not to be a certain weight. And the other
Yeah.
thing, it takes 21 days to form a habit and 90 days to form a lifestyle. So you
Mhm.
might not, if you're listening to this, you might not get the mental clarity and the mental relief that you're talking about right away because your
Mhm.
body's, really working hard and you're feeling sore.
Mhm.
But just, I would say if you're listening, just give it 21 days and you'll start to
Absolutely.
get some of the
Absolutely.
benefits that Raphael is talking about. If you can do it for 90 days, then it's a lifestyle and it doesn't have to be every day. I know some people are working like 40 to 80 hours a week. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, what would be the minimum amount of working out that if someone could do, they could get in some decent shape and get that mental relief that you're talking about?
Just move your body, even if it's 30 minutes. But
Yeah.
don't you again, I can't stress this enough. It has to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be here. Even if it's 30 minutes. And a lot of people, especially, with January and New Year's resolutions, they go in there and they go 100% and they kill themselves and they don't want to, it's like something you can't sustain.
Right,
Your
exactly.
body. Walk on the treadmill.
Yes.
Lift light weights. I mean, I tell myself every day, even now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm just gonna go through the motions.
Just showing up is 95%,
I'm
right?
just gonna show up, listen to the music, go light, and just go through the motions.
And then
Now,
once you
now,
get there, you feed off other people's energy, which is why I like
absolutely.
training in a class. If you're not in LA and you're not near a circuit works, get into a class
Yeah,
because I feel like I don't want to go. I'm just going to show up and then
mhm,
other people's energy is so motivating to get me
absolutely.
to get my energy up.
Absolutely. And that's what I was gonna say. I go in just to go through the motions and I end up pushing myself because I'm there. And if you're there, well, you showed up. That's 95% of it. You might as well just do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I don't show up with the idea of I'm going to go in there and work out my hardest and kill myself. I go in there with the idea of, look, I'm just going to show up and go through the motions and just go and, get mental with it, basically. Just, sort of do it for my mental health, feel better at the end of it, and just go through the motions. You just show up. Don't kill yourself. Just show up.
And
Go at your
music is so important. I remember when you were still teaching and I took your class once and you said something that stuck with me when we were running on the treadmill. You're like, just move your body to the music. Like, don't think
yeah,
about this run is so hard and I'm at,
yeah,
this incline and going this speed. Like,
yeah,
just feel the music with your body. And that just,
yeah.
it's kind of like a meditative state. So if you're
Absolutely.
I think music is just essential. If you're getting back into working out and you're just going to like walk around a local park or something, get a playlist that is
Mhm.
really invigorating to you. And music is,
Absolutely. Music is and I tell my trainers this, music is the number one tool, the best tool we have in there. Not the treadmills, not the equipment, not the weights. Music is your most powerful tool that you have. It is, because
It really is.
you just meditate and you just go with the rhythm, work out in rhythm. Don't kill yourself on a treadmill. Run to the rhythm of the music.
Yes, absolutely. And you said find the comfort and the discomfort, like find a way and just groove to the music. I love it.
That's right. Find comfortability in the uncomfortable.
Yes, yeah, I was listening. So how important is food for getting in shape? Because some people think, I just worked out for an hour, so now I can just go, have a Frappuccino at Starbucks and have a pizza for dinner and then have an ice cream for dessert. Like, a lot of people think that working out gives them the license to eat whatever they want, and then they wonder why they're not getting results. So how do you incorporate food into this fitness lifestyle?
I mean, nutrition is, 80-85% of seeing any results. Now, I'm not saying you have to do get crazy with it and like bodybuilders where they, they're strict, vegetables and raw vegetables and hard-boiled eggs or vegans with it. I'm saying, look, small meals, relatively healthy, but small meals every hour and a half to 2 hours. Graze all day. You just want to graze.
Yes.
You don't want to just eat these big meals. You want your body to be burning fuel all day, and you'll feel better. You don't want to eat to the point of where you're full. You want to eat a little bit at a time where, it's a funny thing. They say, it's a big sort of lesson when it comes to like hydration. They say, at the point that you feel thirsty, you already waited too long to drink water.
Right.
The same thing applies with food. At the moment that you're feeling hungry and starving, you waited too long to eat. And if you look at sort of the animal kingdom, like the mammal with the highest percentage of body fat is a whale. A whale has the highest percentage of body fat out of any mammal on the face of the planet. They eat once a week.
So what about this trend of intermittent fasting that everyone's doing in LA?
I do it. I love it. I love intermittent fasting.
But that gets you kind of hungry, right? Unless your body, I guess, is burning fat. But if you don't eat for 12 to 16 hours at a time, and then you work out on an empty stomach, that's the goal.
Well, again, if you do intermittent fasting, which I do, I mean, I did it before I started doing intermittent fasting. Like, I don't really like eating in the morning. I have water, I have my coffee. I don't eat till 12. My last meal is at 8 p.m. So it's sort of natural for most people to do that. I don't force feed myself. But then when I am eating between that, noon to 8 p.m. time, I'm grazing every hour and a half.
Every hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah. And again, going back to mammals, like whales have the highest percentage. Horses have the lowest percentage of body fat. You know how often a horse eats?
All day.
Every 30 minutes. And not a lot. Like, you don't want to eat. You want to eat enough food to fit in the palm of your hand. Every hour and a half to 2 hours. That's it. Graze like the horse.
That's a great analogy. So how do people stay accountable? Because there's fitness tracker apps, there's diet tracking apps, there's Fitbits, there's workout buddies, there's hiring a trainer. Like, what are some ways for people to stay accountable to, eating healthy, eating every, like you said, couple hours, intermittent fasting, sticking to their workout regimen? How can people stay accountable?
You stay accountable by doing what feels most comfortable to you. You don't want to step so far out of your comfort zone that it's something that you can't sustain. You gotta sort of do it in a way that it doesn't really disrupt how you would normally do things. It's just small adjustments. Small adjustments. Set, every time you eat, set your, alarm on your phone to go off in an hour and a half. Let you know, oh, wow, it's time to eat again. And again, there's such small meals that it won't take you more than 5 minutes to eat it. I mean, it's just enough food to fit in your palm of your hand. It could be as small as, as a hard-boiled egg and an apple.
Right, or like a handful of nuts or something.
Right, handful of nuts or handful of, some salad and some some tuna on top of it.
So food alarm's a way to stay accountable. Do you like the fitness apps or recording everything and putting it on your social media? Do you think that helps people?
I mean, it probably does. I've never done that personally.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a Fitbit. I don't have any of these. I don't use, like, I have an iPhone. I have, the Apple Watch. I don't use any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I use none of it because I just sort of, I've gotten into a routine where I just, I eat when it's time to eat, and it's small amounts. And I have my routine where I go in the morning so that I can set myself up mentally for the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
It's gotta be a lifestyle adjustment. It can't be anything that you're not going to be able to sustain.
I think calorie counting is way too extreme because
let's
say people are on like a reduced calorie diet of 1,500 and they're counting their calories all day. Well, what happens when they go on vacation for a week? They gain 10 pounds, and who wants to live a life where you have to count your calories or count your macros? So many proteins. That's so that's not freedom to me.
I've never done that. I've never calorie counted. I've never measured my food. I've never done any of that. I literally eat enough food to fit in the palm of my hand, and I do it every hour and a half.
And it's working for you. He's wearing a t-shirt now, but if you follow him on Instagram, you'll see he has like an 8-pack. So you do not have to count your calories or count your macros.
No,
so,
absolutely not.
I'm so excited. We talked about you giving people a chance to actually try your class for free if you listen to this interview. So tell us about the gift that you're offering our listeners today.
Yeah, so if you've never tried CircuitWorks, you should, and if you do, which we don't offer free classes, but if you're listening and you've never been, you get a free class.
Yay! I'm so excited. Yay! And should they tell them that they heard the interview with Raphael and Rebecca?
That's right. Say that you heard the interview with Raphael and Rebecca, and we'll comp you a class to try it out. If you come at 9 a.m., you'll see me. Woo!
Yay, and me, but not every day. So I don't do it every day. You know what? I do it 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm getting results, guys. So it doesn't have to be extreme. So how do people stay in touch with you? I know you have an amazing Instagram page, and I don't know if you're on Twitter.
The best way to stay in touch with me is Instagram, and it's Raphael Verela. Instagram. So it's at Raphael Verela. So it's RAPHAEL and then V like Victor, ERELA. And if you look that up, you'll find me, and you can shoot me a DM message. Let me know that you saw the interview, and I can actually put you in the system and give you the free class.
Yay. So that you heard it, guys. Just DM him on Instagram. Well, Raphael, I could talk to you for hours and hours about your fitness knowledge, and I'm just so inspired by your gym and who you are as a person.
Thank you so much.
You apply every ounce of yourself to everything you do, and just hearing your story of how you started from your garage and you took it to, one of the hottest, probably the hottest HIIT training gym in LA. Right on the west side, 20 feet from the ocean on Main Street, Santa Monica. It's amazing. So you're a true success story. And that's what this whole virtual summit is about how people can fulfill their goals, go for their dreams, and live their best lives for 2020 and for the new decade. So
absolutely.
Thank you for being an example and your inspiration. And I will look forward to seeing you at the gym in a couple days.
Tomorrow morning,
9 a.m. I will be there.
9 a.m.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Raphael. You're the best. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at the gym.
See you tomorrow morning.
Okay, bye.
Bye.